So the worst part of coach's days, as I imagine, is the same for the average American, is going to work. Coach truly dreads it. He throws up maybe at least once or twice a week at work. He hates being there just horribly. And his job isn't that bad. The company is horrible as far as how they treat their customers. I do get berated by customers like constantly, like you wouldn't imagine. You've never seen customers, I mean ever, one after the other that come in as hot, and they have every right to be. They're straight up getting robbed. They're not even getting what they're being told in a lot of cases. And we're the biggest, basically, essential product in the country. Like, we're the biggest provider of the biggest product everybody needs, right? So coach has to deal with that shit all the time, and basically all they do to train him is like tell him to like make the customers' lives hell. They can't ever get any sort of resolution unless they buy something extra, even if they just signed up for the service and bought everything we possibly sell. Like, it's just a nightmare. You can't even believe the direction things are going if you haven't had to call in and get your bill taken care of for any sort of service lately. I mean, customer service is non-existent. Absolutely every customer complains that anytime they get transferred, it goes over to the Philippines, and none of them speak English. Like, and this is like, basically how every other company is too. We're just the biggest and horribly satanic and disgusting. I just got put on a new team, and the group's called Rise of Cain. So you can imagine how coach is feeling. He calls his work six because it's just a big X, right? So you might be able to figure out what it is, but I don't want to get too deep into it just in case, as I do actually need the job, at least for now, as much as that sucks. But basically, the reason coach hates the job so much isn't even the time spent away, all that sort of stuff. It's like brainwashing him. It like ruins your brain. Like, they make you do things that are terribly inhuman. You have to act like you have no common sense or decency, and you just conform and do what the robot overlords tell you to do. And coach don't play that shit at all, right? But he's constantly getting bitched at for it, right? You wouldn't even believe the shit that coach says to customers, but he has to hear about it for an hour every single fucking time after he does it, like, and hear the whole fucking call over again, even if it's just someone just bitching and doesn't even live in the fucking service footprint. Like, I'm not trying to bitch too much about my job, but basically I'm saying, like, yeah, I absolutely hate it. But like, the point is, it's like, it's so hard to keep my brain in like the logical, like, open, like, intuitive sense, because like, you just want to close down, right? And basically the reason coach was starting this ramble, as far as the working part, is because he had a customer today. And the customer, so basically coach always asks, like, you a sports fan? To every single customer, because he wants to just find an excuse to just talk about sports for an hour and not actually have to do any work, right? And under the guise of selling something. And maybe I will sell it, maybe I won't. If not, I'm still going to talk to him for another hour. Like, coach is always getting hit up like, this isn't a productive conversation at this point, and I'll literally just ignore him, like, whatever. And it can be like a woman telling me that, like, her son just killed himself, and my boss is like, hang up on her, hang up on her, hang up, like, over and over and over again. You wouldn't even believe, like, get the fuck out of my face, dude. I'm not fucking doing what you're telling me to do right now. Are you a fucking asshole? Right? So, sorry, once again, not trying to bitch too much about it, but just want to say, like, coach just hates, like, how unfeeling this world has become. It's like, they just treat everybody like a number, customers especially, right? So it's like, even if it's someone really old and blind or whatever, like, they expect you to go to the store to pick shit up. Like, you can't even send somebody else proxy. Like, it's just the most ridiculous, convoluted shit. And no matter what, any little change you gotta do, you gotta fucking understand. So coach wants to find a way to make a point about his job without going off for like an hour, right? So, like, coach really hates his job. It's the worst part of his day. I imagine most Americans feel the same. Coach's job isn't that bad. But it's one of those that, like, they try to treat it like it's a career, but it's just a job that nobody ever grew up, like, dreaming of doing, right? Nobody dreamed of selling stupid shit to people, Right, right. Like, but they want you to act like it's like such. You should be so privileged to fucking work there, and coach doesn't buy it at all. He knows that they're the lucky ones, and if they want to go replace them, fucking go for it. Like, you don't play their shit at all. I promise. You would be amazed at the fact. Coach is constantly amazed. Yes, go fact. Like, he does his job really well, but he does not play. He'll straight scream at his fucking supervisor. He fucking hates these people. So, like I said, not trying to go off too much about that, but basically, coach just never is down with like doing something that or being forced to do something that he thinks is wrong. It's there he just does everything. It's there's no compromising. It's where like coach answers to the higher authority if there is one, or at least to his conscience. He doesn't care if his boss is going to yell at him for an hour about spending too long talking to a woman who just told me that their son killed themselves or some crazy shit, instead of selling them stuff and basically trying to rob them. And so coach had a customer today, and basically every customer he gets, he tries to like segue into sports. And I get like a lot of like old ladies that like Gonzaga, like weird stuff, you know what I mean? But this was a dude that seemed like just like a normal dude. It's like, oh, this guy's gotta be, because a lot of times it's just like some ratchet types calling up to scream at you, or like, like, and their shit's like all cut off or whatever. Like, you don't even really get to have a good conversation. But like, this dude wanted to sign up for services, so I didn't even want to sell him, anything. I was trying to get him into sports, and we sell sports stuff, right? So it's a perfect cover to just bullshit about sports for as long as I want. So he just straight shot it down, and his reason was like, I just work all the time. I don't have any time for sports. And he sounded like so defeated. I could like hear kids like crying in the background and stuff, and like his woman or whatever. And like, I don't want to say I felt bad for him. I respected him in that moment, right? Because I knew he's just doing the best he can do, right? You know what I mean? But I just instantly thought, and like, not in any way like I'm better than him or anything, but just like, that absolutely cannot and will not fucking be me. I'm done with this shit, and I'm never gonna be a fucking slave like that. The string's never getting that tight, right? Like, I hate that I have to do 40 hours a week, right? Like, I at least want to get it to where I can cut it down to 20 or something with a little bit of an extra hustle. Anything's better. Get the string a little bit looser, right? And a lot of the shell types, they use the string analogy too, but I mean, like, it's the most perfect type. I mean, you got the Pinocchio stuff. You see the, freedom of speech analogy, immortal technique uses, so in Master of Puppets with Metallica, we've seen strings all over the place, and that's what it feels like. So, of course, it's like a leash, right? We're just kind of like cattle. So basically, he was just saying that's what this is about, is that he doesn't just want to get lucky and get rich. He wants a blueprint for others that can be followed and repeated, to have at least like one is far-fetched, whatever is tough, challenging. Coach can probably tell you about, is I'm probably as well qualified as anybody to tell you that, like, the more you really look into it, even when you figure out how they're doing it and stuff, it's still placed in a way every single time that it's like, the more the harder the decision is. It's like coach is just mind blown that the Warriors and Clippers both exist. Like, I can't even explain like how hard that one really is to call. Same with Bills Chiefs. Like, coach feels good, really, really good. Like, no, it's, for me, it's got to be the Clippers and it's got to be the Chiefs. It just has to be. But man, you want to talk about a bluff. We're talking about, you got to have a four of a kind. You better have 4 twos, calling down like, a flush or full house or something like that, right? Like, they ain't got no jump hand, right? This is really the way they do it. This is how hard these leagues play poker, dude. At almost if you want to win a championship, you better be tuned in enough that you can call down with your 7 high straight flush, or like your queen high or 10 high or whatever, like they've got 1 card lower, right? Oh yeah, no, we can do it, because they can have a different suit, right? So yeah, you have a fucking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I don't need to do the math because you make a wheel. All right, so you have a 6 high straight flush, and you have to know that they turn a straight flush wheel, right? They have a 5 high straight flush. That's how narrow of a margin we're talking about here. Like, it's unfucking real. And that's like the type of stuff that just makes me know, like, oh, we gotta be right. But I'm telling you, it's never gonna be easy. And that's why even like Maple Leafs, I'm not entirely sold on. Stanford, they could be losers, but I'm telling you, those bitches are doing something big. And it's like you got the Buffalo tie-in with the Clippers and the Bills. Like, maybe it is the Bills. But if you were going to use it, you'd be like, oh, maybe it's the Lakers. Maybe it's the Warriors. Right? Like, there's so many good options. Unfucking believable. There's no way this shit's real. Zero fucking chance. I think you already know that part. But it's one thing to know it's fake. It's another thing to write the script. Coach knows he is the best script writer on YouTube. Period. Because I could write you a real script. I could write you something completely original in no time. I could write and then forget about it and write a better thing the next day, over and over and over again. Because I like to be creative. I never was a big fan of the world. So I wanted to live in my head. I wanted to use my imagination. I wanted to be creative. Right? Even with my play style and stuff, I wanted to be creative. I never wanted to be a clown or anything, like doing too much. Right? But I wanted to have like that one extra little head fake. You know what I mean? Like, just get you off your feet or whatever. Like, just playing chess at all times, right? And that's why Coach likes sports. Like, he never understood like dumb athletes. It's like, dude, you're just gonna like, you're worthless, right? Like, if you're not a cerebral player, you're just a pawn. You're just in in the show, right? You can't completely take over. You can't just put a whole team on your shoulder. You can't single-handedly change the outcome just by being on the court. The ball might not even come to you, but everybody's playing different, right? The ball's moving. You set that one screen or whatever. It can't always be measured on a score sheet, right? You threw that one block, right? So that's what Coach said. You always got to be thinking ahead. And, the less we can have spent hours working at stupid jobs, the more we can spend dedicated to this. And the longer we do it, the more people can hopefully get ahead, right? But Coach is saying logically, with the amount of picks that I have with so many, there is no shame in just waiting. You can wait. If you want to wait and see until Stanford hits to get it on the action, you should be perfectly fine with at least Bucks, Warriors, Lions, even if the Maple Leafs doesn't hit, right? And you should be able to put Lakers on that too for next year, right? And a lot of those are like exact results and stuff, right? So yeah, don't go broke now. This is the prove it period. Coach wants a clean sweep. Make no mistake about it. Absolutely spotless. UFC championships already in the bag. Unfortunately, Coach picked a loser in college football, but it seems like going into this championship game, but coach is switching gears just in time, right? So we're still going to count Notre Dame. We're going to celebrate, just like all the same, right? We don't love Notre Dame or nothing, but that win matters every bit as much as all the rest, and more than Jones, right? No joke. And they're big underdogs. Jones was a favorite. Coach would like the Notre Dame win way more than Jones, even though he got exact result. Okay. And then, we want Commanders over Chiefs right on the money. Exact results, nothing less. No bullshit. Coach ain't fucking around. Obviously, Stanford, we want to know who they're beating, but it doesn't matter. They don't let you bet that, right? So Coach cares more about, like, the matchups they let you bet. So, like, pro stuff, right? So Bucks over Clippers. We don't know who the Maple Leafs are beating. That's number one on the list to figure out. And then we got Guardians over Brewers. That needs to be spotless, clean sweep. Same with Lions. Same, over Browns. Same with Cavs, Lakers over Cavs next year, right? I'm talking absolutely running the fucking tables, not missing a fucking beat. Coach is a perfectionist, and Coach is a big, strong believer in like if you strive for perfection, you'll reach excellence. Fuck that. I want to reach fucking perfection. Absolutely nothing less than nailing it and just sticking to what we need to know. We don't need to worry about point spreads. Coach never cared about that shit. We don't fuck with most of the dumb prop bets, right? Let's stick to championships. Let's Bill Russell it up by the end of next year. Coach wants, let's count them up. I'm already rocking the UFC belt, so we want to add, NCAA football championship, NCAA championship, Super Bowl, NBA, Stanley Cup, World Series. Okay, that's 7. Coach wants 7 before the Lions goes down, right? So if we can manage to also get Lions and Cavs, that puts us at 9. If we can get Kansas and Ohio State too next year, that's 11. Bill Russell, motherfucker. Coach ain't playing. Oh yeah, and Coach did mention, so the town he's from that had the once in a 1,000-year fall, the big flood, Rain L, town of 1,000 people gets completely swamped, Rain L, and it looks like a war zone. At least 24 people are dead. All right, so there you go.